Hey guys, Mobile Gamers Unite. So, I've been playing today with Fariq because she a freak. No, she's awesome. She's really awesome. I can't believe how great and relevant they made this SR character. This is really a good one for the masses. That's why it's so good on my alt account, because if you just have a Boz, she's pretty much like his little girlfriend. I mean, Lestelle is Basil's wife, but Fariq is like his little girlfriend, and she puts in a lot of work. It's awesome that, you know, she's a character you don't have to pull. You can earn her right now. It doesn't take much. I did pull her on my main, actually. It was the first pull that came down on this banner was a Fariq. So that was pretty cool. As far as her playing though, I was very surprised when, like, her maneuver ability where she switches places with you, that gives her a very large attack range. It's very awesome and very good at disrupting the enemy. Her damage seems to be on point, and really, if you look at her bonds, she's giving, and this kind of worried me for a second, but she gives like defense, and she gives more defensive oriented stats, which for like an assassin type is kind of weird, but I was thinking about it. She's really going to be running sorceresses, and as you can tell, that's, you know, what mine are doing right now, and they completely own. Okay, they don't need any more percent to their attack just because they already do so much. On top of that, she's going to be doing a lot. I think most of her actual damage comes from her as a hero, and it's kind of good that she gives these sorceresses some defensive percentages from her bonds, because she is she is a rogue, you know, so she does run the risk of getting assaulted in close quarters combat herself. So I've been playing her, obviously, on both accounts. I got her leveled up, and she's absolutely awesome. I decided to throw Rachel in here too. Both Rachels from both of my accounts, and they're just running awesome. Her heals are all over the place. I absolutely love it. I enjoy it. She does a lot of damage. Her AoE is great, and she works out really well with Fariq because she's constantly healing her. And Fariq is doing a lot of damage. I mean, these girls hit hard. They have low cooldowns, and this whole talent to act again once you shift into somebody. First of all, that's just amazing, because you can find a unit that doesn't have a ranged attack to retaliate against you, and you can go up to them and you can attack them at a range, and then even if you're weak to them, you will turn into the same unit type as they are, and then you'll essentially get another turn after that. So you can attack again, which really helps with enemies that you're weak against for whatever reason. If you run into that, because your first attack you'll be weak to them, you won't really do anything but put a scratch on them, but your second attack you will do normal damage. So at that point, whatever you're attacking shouldn't really have enough hit points left, if it survives, to really retaliate against you in an effective way. And that's how Fariq manages to go in there, take some people out, and then, you know, leaves, obviously. So anything that can increase her movement is great, but you gotta figure she's already gonna get the first attack on most things because she has a 2-block range with her attack in the first place. So her giving her more movement isn't, you know, necessary, but I would suggest it. It makes her more effective. She can move through the battlefield faster, okay? And obviously the sorceresses are gonna be able to keep up with that movement anyway, because they're made for that. So really awesome character. She does have some self-sustain in her kit as well. For one skill point, she I think it's like 20%, whatever it is, she gets to get healed just like a flyer, and that goes a long way for her. She's really awesome. So I'm really happy about this, because I didn't get to pull a Zarita, and don't get me wrong, I still want a Zarita, but I am very happy with Fariq for the time being. She is absolutely awesome. She managed to breathe some life into my alt account as far as my Dark Reincarnation team goes, because it went from being non-existent to actually being somewhat of an effective team now. You know, between Basil's fusion power, her, and Edgar, I mean, that's an awesome SR party. Really. It really is. Edgar is the man for his talent. He's awesome at clearing the goblin stages, and with Fariq and with Basil, even if you don't have Lana, even if you don't have Listel, it can still be a very effective, very nasty team, you know, and these are characters that most people are going to have. So it's great now. All you need to do is pull a Basil, and you know, you can form a decent Dark Reincarnate team, and they can be very effective for different content that you might need beat. Okay, because you might be one of these players where you have like a really good Origins of Light team, and you just happen to have a Basil lying around or something. Well, now you can actually make a Dark Reincarnate team, because now there's Fariq as well, and she is absolutely phenomenal. One of my favorite things about it is that she brings a different mechanic with her maneuver ability, and it's just so sweet. I haven't even really got that much time to mess around with it and play around with it and really know all the ins and outs of it, but it seems solid. Okay, she gets to move up, and she gets a really high attack range with that thing. I think it's like 3 blocks or something away, and she'll like switch places with somebody if she doesn't kill them. Just really good stuff right there. And if we actually look at her and start looking at, you know, the different things that she gets down the line, because mine's only at level 50, so I still have a lot of work to do with her, but it seems like they have made her extremely powerful right out of the box. Pretty much as soon as you get her. And on my other account, she's very effective. I have gold gear on her. Okay, on this one I did take, because I run Dark Reincarnate and stuff, so I took some of the items that I had my other characters just holding on to, just like my R characters had some of this gear because it's a low star. And I kind of pieced together a set for her so I could, you know, actually see her tearing through some shit, and you know, how she would really perform if you really put something into her. And don't get me wrong, this isn't a lot to put into her at all, but it's something. You know what I mean? I got something to go off of. So, the Baldur's White Robe, this is something that's good because it's got a 12% chance that the unit's damage will not be reduced in melee battles. I'm kind of taking a guess on that one here, so if I catch some heat for that, like, somebody please let me know if this really doesn't affect Fariq. I know this affects rogues, and I know this affects archers, where they do less damage when they're getting attacked. In fact, there's a special bow that has kind of like the same ability, where if you have this bow and you're getting attacked by a physical attack, it's not going to reduce your damage, so you're going to, you know, retaliate really good against a physical attack, which most archers don't do. Matter of fact, fun little fact about archers, even though they're strong against a flyer unit, the way they've got it set up is pretty much whoever attacks first wins. A flyer unit, even though they're weak to archers, archers are weak to melee combat. So if a flyer unit manages to get an archer into melee combat, even though they're weak against them, they're still going to tear them a new one and probably just full-on destroy them. And they're not going to take that much damage in return because archers can't retaliate that much in physical combat. On the other hand, if an archer gets the jump on a flyer unit, the flyer unit's probably not even going to survive their initial attack. So I really like how they have balanced both of those in this game. But regardless, that's what this item pertains to, this little 12% chance to... I don't know if that affects Fariq. I don't think it actually affects her. It might affect some of her troops, though, like her little backstabbers and assassins that she can run, because I do know they have a weakness, and that's melee, and so their damage is reduced in melee combat. So maybe this will help with that, maybe not. I don't know. I haven't exactly got a chance to research this, so I just put it on there as a hunch. So if anybody can help me out with that, if anybody knows if this really applies to her, if this just is not a good choice at all, let me know in the comments. I'd really like to know. I'm not going to be able to research this till later because I got a bunch of stuff to do. But this is what her gear looks like. Really, I don't even have her classed out all the way, okay? Although, and this is really cool, sorceresses, leviathans, obviously the ambushers here, the anonymous ambushers. I absolutely love those guys. They're great. And then obviously she can get bandits, and I don't have that unlocked yet. And she can get these little, the little kunachis. Yeah. And these on paper look great. I haven't really used these yet, but crit increased by 20%, critical hits deal 1 random debuff. Yeah, that sounds pretty damn good to me. And Fariq here is like a rogue type character. She's banking on criticals, and I think that's where a lot of her damage is coming from. On top of having a bunch of nifty mechanics that will actually move you around on the battlefield, help you get into battle quicker, more effectively, and potentially make a getaway. Because here's the scenario, guys. You got Fariq standing there, and she's got 4 enemies around her that are absolutely going to obliterate her. And they're slowly catching up on her. Say she only moves 3 blocks. She can target an enemy far away from her and use that switcheroo ability. Even if it's you know what I mean? And she can move some distance off of her attack away from the bigger threat. She can probably do some good damage to whatever enemy she's doing that to anyway, and then she'll trade places with him. So effectively she can get out of combat and get out of bad situations like that. And any character that can do that and retreat and go get healed and come back stronger, that is an awesome, pliable, playable character in my book, because she's definitely a content clearer, guys. She will help you, okay? So I was a little worried about her bonds at first and the percentages that she was giving to her soldiers, but then I really started thinking about it. Along with her soldiers taking less damage and her having that heal ability, I think that was their way of trying to self-sustain her. Now you can trade that skill out for a different ability, I think to increase damage by a little bit, but if you're gonna do that, I would suggest having a healer around her, okay? But I wanted to try and just really see where the self-sustain is on her, and guess what? It's hitting. Okay, she heals just like a flyer. So that self-sustain on her is great. I think I'll just be leaving that on. I'm going to play around with different builds and stuff like that, but this is just as far. And look, her bond power is 8%. Okay, I mean, I'm sorry. I know that's kind of shabby on my main account to be able to get her to a whopping. Oh, I'm sorry. We're at 9% now, so 9%, okay? But you guys got to realize I've thrown a lot of keys on the new SSR characters that I just got. So really, her troops really aren't even that pumped up here. I haven't even unlocked her, and this is really what you need with her. This Hero Bond Light, this is what you want to level 10 first, because she is the actual primary damage dealer. Because as you can see, the intimacy that you unlock at level 15, this gives hit points and magic defense. So it's going to make them better against mages, taking magic damage, and going to give them a little bit more life. Okay, so that works really well too with sorceresses when you're going to go head hunt some mages, something that can do magic damage to you, and of course sorceresses hit with magic themselves. So, but most of your damage with Fariq is going to come from her, so make sure to capitalize on that one. What is this down here? Hit points, defense, and of course, it's just a standard layout attack. And of course, if you get to it, work on her level 25 bond, because that's attack and it's skill. And that's really what you want with her. Attack, skill, hit points and everything else are nice, as usual. But really, she's a rogue type character. You're going to want crits, you're going to want skill, you're going to want high attack. Alright? So that's what her bonds look like. That's what she gives to her little soldiers. Alright? And she's, if you listen to what she says in the bond realm to you as you're giving her gifts, she's very eager to please. So, FYI, just so we know that about Fariq. Pay attention to what she says. You'll get a good laugh out of it. So, that's how Fariq is doing right now. These are like my first impressions on her. I've been running her. She's great. She's absolutely phenomenal. More characters like this, please. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, she is definitely just as useful for Dark Reincarnate as Kirikaze is to Origins of Light or whatever faction group he belongs to. She can bring a shit ton of damage, and she brings a fun mechanic even if you aren't satisfied with her damage, because you might have somebody that does more. You can have so much fun with her mechanic. You can do so many nifty things. You can literally leave somebody stranded. You just switch places with them and put them in a messed up situation where they have to walk through a bunch of obstacles, or, I mean, there's just so much you can do. It's, in my opinion, it's more fun than the chain hook, and you can get away with a lot of things with chain hook. Okay, if you have a couple characters with chain hook, you can literally move an enemy like down the board, gridlock style, just move him this way, move him that way, and then he ends up far away from the rest of his companions and pretty much isolated and ends up getting destroyed. So I can see a lot of fun being done with this, and I can, especially like in Guild War, when you're running two Fariqs at the same time, and they're both banking on that ability. Oh, I'll switch with you, and then that one will switch with you, and then you'll end up on the. So there's just like a bunch of fun stuff you can do just with that mechanic. And if anybody knows anything about me, I love when a new character comes and they bring a different mechanic. Okay, I cannot stand units that, like, that's cool, they have abilities that are copy and pasted from other units. They're just kind of in a different order. They might change a name around, but they generically do the same damn thing. Okay, and to me that's just a little lackluster. So I love it when they bring these new characters that actually do a different thing. Fariq is one of them, and actually this whole banner's been like that, because if we really look at I want to call him Landius. I'm bad with names, we already know that. Oh my goodness, Landius. Yes, if we look at Landius, he brings a bunch of different mechanics with him. The whole way that he tanks is fundamentally completely different than anybody else. He's like the only cavalry tank. So you can kind of compare Altamüller to him, but I don't know. The verdict's still out on his tanking, by the way. I just don't know, and I'm not going to comment on it until I get like some real game time with him to see what he can and can't do. Alright, but he brings that mechanic, and then this girl right here, although it's subtle, Rachel brings a pretty unique skill. That, what's it called? That Obliterate Ray. Right here. Right here. Arcane Blast. This is a big deal because just because of the break on it, it's nice, okay, for 2 turns, and it's strong against mages and healers, so that's awesome because that lets me target really squishy glass cannons more effectively. So she's got that going for her. I don't want anyone to overlook that. And then she has other skills too that I'm sure I'll make another video and I'll get into all that stuff. But also I've been hearing from the game community in large that these talents are amazing, especially when they're 6-starred. Okay, I mean, even Landius here, I've taken action. There's an ally with 1 block. Attack increases by 10%, and 5% of attack is added to defense and magic defense. So that's nice because that's going to increase his defense too, and that's what he really needs. Okay, this guy really does need defense if you want him to like tank for you and actually take a couple hits. Okay. When hit by a ranged attack, reduces damage taken by 10% and launches a counterattack within 2 blocks. And as I was saying, this is what makes him effective against archers and bandits. And he counterattacks hard. Okay, he is a cavalry unit, so it's really, really sweet. It's really, really strong. That, and he just gives an aura for people just to stand around and kind of be, you know, stronger, tougher. The point being is, even if a billion people weren't super excited about this banner, it actually did bring a lot of change, and it did bring a lot of different mechanics. Okay, I mean, we have a whole new fusion power to run now, like a specialty team of all SSR characters that can bank off this fusion, and it increases average damage. I think that's really good, but it's not going to really wow some people, and I get that. But for me, because of all the mechanics that this has brought, this has been an awesome update and a great banner. Fariq is an amazing character. She just adds to all of this. So if there's anything I missed, guys, please let me know. But Fariq is the bomb. I love using her. I'm going to keep leveling her up, and I am going to build into her. She's just going to be epic. So I will definitely do some gameplay of her when she's done and when she's all iced out and just wreaking havoc on the battlefield with Basel in the background. So hit like, subscribe, let me know what you think. If I missed anything, if you want me to add some comment, let your boy know I'm always here. Peace.